Good morning. Welcome to Coffee and the Word on Labor Day. And you probably thought, since it's so late in the morning, you probably thought I was taking the day off, didn't you? No, I just kind of slept in. I'm not taking the day off. I'm here doing some work in the office and ready to have a Coffee and the Word session with you all today. I'm going to look at a very short psalm today, Psalm 54. Not very many verses, as was the case with Psalm 53 that we did Saturday. Not very many verses, but some good meat to grab hold of here as we look at it, as we know that God's Word always brings us something. Look for the message in God's Word. Don't read just to be reading and checking off your list. Look for what God's saying to you and how you apply this to your life as we study. Got my Casey's coffee, got the Bible here. I think we're all ready to go. Yeah, the camera's turned on. We're good. Well, maybe not good, but we're ready. Psalm 54. Save me, O God, by your name, and vindicate me by your power. Hear my prayer, O God. Give ear to the words of my mouth. For strangers have risen against me, and violent men have sought my life. They have not set God before them. Behold, God is my helper. The Lord is the sustainer of my soul. He will recompense the evil to my foes, destroy them in your faithfulness. Willingly I will sacrifice to you. I will give thanks to your name, O God, for it is good. For he has delivered me from all trouble, and my eye has looked with satisfaction upon my enemies. Very short, 7 verses, very short verses even. Excuse me. Is David lifting up again a prayer to God in this song, a prayer to God to save him, to vindicate him, that once again he feels the pressure around him of what's going on around him. And I think as we live just ordinary day-to-day life, I think we can really sympathize with David. Maybe we don't have the same things. We're not king of an empire and have everybody against us, but we're kind of, we have our own little worlds that seem like are attacked all the time, and little bitty crises come up that seem like great big crises in our life. Maybe there's not an army lined up at the border ready to make an attack on Jerusalem, but we have those ones who are ready to throw arrows at us, and so we can kind of I think we can sympathize with David that this kind of keeps coming back as a theme, because life wants to throw us a lot of punches, and we know that Satan, as long as we've declared that we belong to Jesus, that we're on his team, that we are possessions of God, and that we want to work for God, as long as we've declared and pledged our allegiance to the God who loves us and showed us mercy, Satan's going to attack us. And he may let us go through a season where everything seems like it's going good and everything's so smooth, and then he'll chop our knees out from under us. And so you can just expect it to happen. I'm not telling you guys to, go through life scared of what's going to happen next, but expect that Satan is not going to give up. He knows ultimately ahead of him is a time when Jesus returns, and he's going to be thrown away into the fiery pit forever, and his deal's done. And Satan's only purpose is to try to destroy as many lives, as many of us humans who are loved by God. He wants to destroy as many of us as he can before he is ultimately destroyed. He knows what's coming. So don't be fooled to think that he's taking the rest of your life off. He will be back to hack away at you. So we actually see the next few Psalms where David is making a similar cry to God. Save me, help me with those who would come against me. Violent men have sought my life. Strangers have risen against me, he says. Where did this come from? Sometimes we get those attacks. It's like, whoa, I didn't see that one coming. And so This is where David's at. But notice what he does. He takes it to God. God, please save me. And he says in confidence in verse 4, God is my helper. The Lord is the sustainer of my soul. Now, don't mistake what he says in the first part of that. God is my helper. God is the one who helps me. That's not my helper. Like, oh, look at my little helper. You know, I'm the main guy, and when I'm busy and I can't get everything done, then God takes care of what I can't get done. No, that's not the helper he's talking about. What he's talking about is I can do everything through Christ who strengthens me, but John 15, Jesus says, if you don't abide in me, you can't accomplish anything. Nothing. So God is my sustainer, as he goes on to say. That really gives us a truer picture of what God is to us, that we are nothing without him. Our very life, you know, who we are, what we stand for, what we believe in, it all comes from God. And God gives us, you know, day-to-day encouragement and strength. So not God is my little helper. God is my helper, my sustainer, the one who brings me help, because I can't do anything. Okay, make sure we get that straight in our mind, because sometimes I think we as humans, we tend to put it the other way, and we only cry to God when we think that big man me can't handle this, and I could use a little help, God. You know, I could use some help here, God. Are you watching? No, God's watching all the time, and God sees you, and God is again your sustainer, not your little helper. So make sure you get that straight in your mind. He goes on and talks about, and we often see David use this language, and this, you know, I think that, me personally, I think this is David's own quest for vengeance coming out. It's, you know, he always says something about destroy them, you will recompense the evils of my foes, destroy them in your faithfulness. God may, but he may destroy them, or he may save them and redeem them. You know, I know which he'd prefer. He'd prefer to save and redeem every soul. We're all loved creations of his. And so I'm not going to assume to, when I take a prayer to God, I'm not saying that David's being presumptuous here, because I'm not David, and of course I am not God. But I'm not going to be presumptuous enough in my prayers to go to God and say, you know, this guy has really been a thorn in my side, and I would like for you to just destroy him. Now, I have prayed for God to bring humility into some people's lives and to bring them down off their pedestal. There again, maybe that's telling God what to do. We've got to be careful of what we think. That's what I'm thinking David's being sometimes, in telling God what to do. He's being a little presumptuous. We can't tell God what to do. He has it under control. He's sovereign. He's my sustainer. Willingly I will sacrifice you. I will give thanks to your name, O Lord, for it is good. For he has delivered me from all trouble. God has constantly, always, faithfully taken care of you. And he will faithfully take care of you from here through eternity. Now, does that mean there'll never be any problems, any troubles, any pains, any griefs? No. No. We live in a world where, because of man's sin, there are those things that surround us. Excuse me. And God, you know, I wish I knew how to explain it. I just try to think about this stuff. But God allows that sin to surround us and be around us in the world, so that we'll appreciate who he is and what he's done for us. and appreciate what we'll have that day when we get in his throne room and we see that none of that evil, none of the effects of evil, the death or sickness, robbery, murder, none of the effects of evil will be there. And we will so much more appreciate the throne room of God and his very presence. Willingly I will sacrifice to you. I will give thanks to your name, O Lord, for it is good, for you, God, have delivered me from all trouble. Pray prayers like this to God. We've talked about this before. When we read this stuff, think about what David's really saying, what he's bearing from his soul. That God, I'm scared here, and I'm getting discouraged, and God, I'm overwhelmed. And God, I bring it to you because I know that I need to quit handling this myself and allow you, who sustain me, to step in and bring me calm and bring me the feeling of your saving presence, the peace that comes from only knowing you and being assured that you have this under control. Be open enough to pray to God and talk to God that way. And remember to thank him. Again, be part of our daily prayers to thank God for who he is, for what he has done, what he is doing, and what he promises us that he will do in our future and throughout eternity, that we'll be with him forever. Tomorrow we're going to look at Psalm 55 as you guys all get back to work too. Some of you are working today. The world doesn't completely shut down on Labor Day, obviously. But tomorrow we'll look at Psalm 55. A few more verses now. We get back to 23 verses in Psalm 55. So a little more meat for you to look at. Read ahead, read this. Again, David's crying out to God, listen to me, hear my prayer. I hope you pray like that. See you guys tomorrow. Have a great day. You guys probably have this day off. Enjoy the day and drink some coffee. Read the Word. Hug your children, your grandchildren, and have a great day. We'll see you later.